So I'm over here trying to understand how people are very easily, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put it. They're very easily convinced about things that are perception based rather than just looking underneath the surface in many cases. And it's not even an argument. Death Stranding is a PlayStation game. They sold the rights to publishing the game and the IP to Hideo Kojima conveniently a few years before the game goes to Xbox. Now, you have to ask yourself one main, question. Why did they do that? Were they done making money on the game? Did they refuse to make more money on the game? What was the reason behind it? I think it's a very simple answer. The game needed money, influx of money somewhere, somehow. I mean, they could have given the IP to Kojima, right? But how do we know what the rest of the agreement actually holds? Death Stranding IP Kojima, right? But Decima is PlayStation's, right? So what if there's a licensing fee for Decima Engine in that whole contract? You never know. PlayStation, I don't think, is not making money from any sales that Death Stranding has going on forward. Why? Even free Unreal Engine makes money on you once you make your first $1 million. Onward, forever and ever. So all of this talk about, well, they sold the IP to Kojima, you don't really understand. You think you're talking to a 5-year-old. Some of you think you're talking to a 5-year-old. In fact, some of you are even taking the bait and saying, well, yeah, guys, an engine given to you by a company that owns it, that's not a small thing. Like Kojima, sure, he's got influence. He knows people in the industry and stuff, but don't be fooled, guys. There's the business side of things, because even they would want to eat, not only from the fact that they published the game and all, they will want to also eat from the back end as well, and that will be PlayStation, because Decima's funds, having been licensed to Kojima to make 2 games, could also help Guerrilla Games in, say, bringing in revenue. Let's not be fooled. I saw a comment here. No, dishonest member of mine, Taco, shout out to you. You want, it's a really nice attempt. You said, this is your 3rd video on a PS5 exclusive game. So I guess they do have an impact, because I said no one cares about these games. So I'm making a 4th video just to tell you once again that nobody cares. Simply because at the end of the day, you got to understand, this is all semantics and perception based blah blah. Does that make sense? It's all perception based. Even the deal with Ilphonic, with Predator Hunting Grounds and such, I don't even know what engine they made that with. It may have been Unreal Engine, right? I don't necessarily think that any sales that Xbox gets to, make for that game, PlayStation is not going to see a hand on it. Now, it could be that they gave them publishing rights and stuff, and maybe they don't have to pay PlayStation, or maybe they have to pay PlayStation some, kind of fee or something like that. But let's not fool ourselves thinking that somewhere, somehow, the Death Stranding game on Xbox is not going to benefit PlayStation, because we might as well just laugh if you say that the PC version, which was out years ago, did not benefit PlayStation as well. That would just be a laughable reality at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people are just so, again, like I said, you're so used to gatekeeping. You can't fathom that these people are going to make arrangements to be able to go ahead and get these games where they need people to buy them. So many of you are coming out saying, well, it's a Kojima game. It's a Kojima game. It's a Kojima game. It's a Kojima game. After the fact, though, that it was a Sony game. But not the moment it came to Xbox. Oh, well, it's a Kojima game. Sony's got you eating out their hand. It's a Kojima game. It's a Kojima game. It's a Bethesda game. It's a Bethesda game. It's a Bethesda game. It wasn't really Microsoft's game when, they just bought it. Y'all made that argument. Don't get me. Again, I'm not saying anything crazy. I'm just saying I saw some of you make that same argument too. Xbox didn't really foster the studio. They didn't really build it from ground up. It wasn't organic. These little semantics that everyone wants to play is just so funny. MLB The Show, even an audience member said, well, it's a Kojima game. It's a third-party game. So MLB The Show too is a third-party game. It's not a PlayStation game. If MLB came right now and said, oh, you know what? Why don't we buy the rights of the show? We're gonna say it's not a PlayStation game. Why are y'all so funny, man? There's just so much cuteness going on around here. Again, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? It's not like Death Stranding is like it's not like a freaking Elden Ring. If anything, I compare Death Stranding to Bloodborne. But then they gave the rights to Miyazaki. Then they sold the rights to Miyazaki. That's pretty much what I think. I mean, I just, because From Software went ahead and made it, right? From Software Productions or whatever. Or maybe, Death Stranding, Bloodborne belongs to PlayStation, and then they go ahead and give the rights to, From Software. And From Software makes Bloodborne 2. But you can't tell me that if they did that, that PlayStation is going to just give those rights away and not benefit from it on the back end. That would be very bad business. If I was PlayStation and somebody, had signed an exclusivity deal with me, I'd find a way to perpetually make money on that IP. I'm not going to just leave after investing all that money in the development and whatever I did, also letting them use the engine that I spent, probably hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development making. And I'm just going to let them just, say, here you go. Merry Christmas. Man, I don't think that's how business is done, guys. I don't know. Even free Unreal Engine, and this is why I said that, even Unreal Engine that is in quote free, the moment you make a mill, it's 4% to Epic Games from then on. Even if you make 1 million, even if you make 1 million and $5, that $5, you take 4% of it and you give it to Epic Games. That's how it works. So I don't see how Death Stranding 1, which will be pushed by this fact that Death Stranding 2 is coming out, is not going to pretty much get people to say, let me try Death Stranding on Xbox, and they buy the game, and Sony doesn't get off the top of that. I don't see that. And if they signed a deal like that, they must really love Kojima. Like, he must be a son. You know what I mean? Like, he must be a child of the PlayStation platform if he's able to pull that stuff off. And they were able to go ahead and say for sure. But I'm not convinced that that's the case. And we didn't see the agreements. But again, there's always a lot to be, pointed out here. So Taco, yes, a fourth video, on your behalf. Shout out to you. Comment section, guys. Peace out.